Now, while the budget crisis was the most immediate task that we faced 8 years ago, we did not win to just fix those problems. We had a vision for finally tackling the chronic problems in New Jersey. In the 10 years before we came to Trenton, property taxes increased 70%, an average of 7% a year, every year, for 10 years. Fact. That is a chronic problem which was crippling our citizens' ability to buy and keep a home. That's why when the legislature wanted to go home in July of 2010, after passing the budget, I used my constitutional authority to call them back to finally address the growth of these taxes. And together, we passed the 2% cap on property taxes with only 4 exceptions. It was tough medicine, but tough medicine was what was needed to deal with this issue. Here's the good news. We did it for our constituents, and it worked. In 2017, DCA just gave us the numbers. Property taxes in New Jersey increased by only 1.64%. So therefore, in the last 7 years, property taxes have increased an average of 1.98% per year. The 2% cap worked. Don't change it. What has that meant to property taxpayers across the state? It has saved property taxpayers $18.2 billion over the last 7 years compared to the system previously in place. $18.2 billion. Why else did it work? Because we also gave the towns and the counties the tool to control their largest single expense, police and fire salaries. Now, we have great men and women who serve as police officers and firefighters in this state. However, they are also the highest paid firefighters in America and the second highest paid police officers in America. They are objectively not underpaid. Not 7 years ago and not today. So to make the 2% cap real, we needed to cap the interest arbitration salary increases given to them every year. So we did it in a bipartisan way, twice. And it has saved over $500 million in salary increases alone over the last 7 years, which would have been paid for by higher property taxes. See, the 2% cap and the interest arbitration cap have worked. In a state that suffered with 7% property taxes every year for a decade, that is an accomplishment of consequence for every New Jersey homeowner. So here's my first warning for taxpayers in New Jersey's future. If you do not act in a bipartisan way to renew the arbitration cap, the property taxes of our citizens will skyrocket again. The cap expired 9 days ago. The progress we've made over the last 7 years is at real risk, and our governor-elect has refused to ask the legislature to act before this cap expired. Now, if our public safety officers were underpaid, I could understand this debate. But even after 7 years of a 2% arbitration cap, they remain the highest paid public safety officers in our entire country, while our taxpayers still pay the highest property taxes in America. Let me be clear. Failure to renew this cap is a failure of leadership, a failure which would cost our citizens money they need to support their families. So, 7 days, I'm just another property taxpayer. And as another property taxpayer, I am begging you, stand up to these interests, pass the arbitration cap like you've done twice before, and do not return the citizens of our state to 7% annual property tax increases, because if you do, shame on you.